I just met a beautiful person.
Welcome to this series on things that can hold you back from your best life. But we're not going to let that happen because you have gifts and talents to share. Oh, excuse me, I'm just removing myself from others' perceptions. Okay, I'm back. Let us begin again.
And super smart, extremely smart, got her shizzled together, this person, right? And yet again, somebody who has suffered from narcissistic abuse. So I thought, you know what? I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this again. Because here's this beautiful, smart, amazing lady, and she forgot that she's this. She forgot that she's as gorgeous as this night sky. She's actually come to remember because we were having this conversation about it. But we can go in and out of these ebbs and flows, because if you've ever been a target of this kind of abuse, and for those of you that haven't, thank God. And stop shaming the people who have. Like, well, what's wrong with you? You've got a bad picker and stuff like that, because that's what the narcissist wants. They want the target to be the bad guy. Then that helps them. You aid them when you do that. So be careful when you've heard of somebody who's as beautiful as this, and I don't care if you're not aesthetically model like this girl that I'm talking about, you're beautiful. And if you've forgotten this, you're handsome, you're gorgeous, you're all the things. They say that women can't be narcissists. Not true. Anyone can be a narcissist. They're traits, they're personality traits that somebody developed. They're manipulative. They are out to take. They don't feel good enough inside, so they feel like they have to take from other people. They have to squash other people down, because maybe you forget that you are perfect, whole, and complete, because they told you you weren't feminine enough, or maybe you weren't masculine enough, or you weren't funny enough, or you weren't something enough. And just flip the switch when you hear that kind of language and go, oh, they're talking about themselves. They are talking about themselves. Because think about anybody who's giving you constructive criticism. If you've ever been to therapy or something, nobody ever says, you're not good enough. Well, the problem is you're not pretty enough. Well, the problem is you're not thin enough. Well, the problem is nobody talks like that except for an unhealthy person. So when you hear things like that, when you hear little put downs, why don't you do this? Why don't you dress like that? And their little jabs, little criticisms, go, there it is. That's a narcissist. Start looking for these red flags early on, and don't squash them and shame yourself the way that other people do by being like, oh, I must have a bad picker or something. No, you don't. You were a target. You were targeted. And now it's time to take your power back and go, okay, now I get what the sides are. And I can remember who I am so that they don't take away who I am. Because when I was having this conversation with this beautiful soul, she was saying how her ex was abusing her, saying, oh, you're too feminine and you should be more masculine. And I've had the opposite. You should be more feminine. Then I'm feminine and somebody says, you should be more masculine. So I heard her as she was reflecting these things, and I thought, this is a pattern. This is a constant pattern. And then the problem when somebody stays with somebody who does that, if you stay with somebody who does that to you for 25 plus years, you begin to divvy away parts of yourself because you're trying to please somebody in order to not get abused. And so you barter away little pieces of yourself. You like sushi. This person hates sushi. They don't even want it in the house. It stinks to them or something. So then you stop eating something that you enjoy. Starts little. You think that's compromise. That's relationship. Until pretty soon you don't recognize yourself. Until pretty soon you might be dressing different. You might be not listening to the music that you enjoy. You might be doing all sorts of things that you don't even like to try to appease somebody who could care less. It's never going to be good enough for them. So instead, start tuning into your own preferences. And one surefire way to find out if somebody's a narcissist, just set a boundary. Stand up for yourself. If they vanish, if they ghost you, if they discard you, if they get aggressive, if they rage out at you, a healthy person is not going to mind that you have preferences. A healthy person is not going to mind that you enjoy certain things that maybe that they don't. They're going to respect you. And they're going to appreciate that you guys have contrast and differences. A narcissist is going to try to control you. They're going to chip away to see how much control they can get of you. They're going to make you feel like you're not good enough, because if you feel like you are, they cannot control you. Never been a target of this type of abuse. It's easy for them to shame somebody like that. Oh, you just have a bad picker, or oh, God, why would you even be attracted to somebody like that? What they don't understand is how charming a person like this can be. So please forgive yourself if you have been a target. You didn't do anything wrong. They can be extremely charming. They can be some of the best actors out there. So if you're missing them, remember that is not even the person you thought you knew. Everything that you loved is a facade. That's an act. None of that is real. The real part is the part that made you feel awful. That's the real part. So anytime you miss them, remember that awful feeling. Remember that not good enough. Remember how they tried to make you feel less than. That's who they are. That's who you'd be signing up to be with forever if you sign up for that kind of abuse, because it doesn't get better. It does not get better. It gets worse, unfortunately. So it can get so bad that you don't even recognize yourself. This person was saying that she's so calm and soft-spoken. He wanted her to get aggressive and triggered and all this kind of stuff. Well, if you stay with somebody like that, then pretty soon you do get aggressive and triggered, and then pretty soon it's not even who you are. That's not organically who this person is. And you start dressing differently, you start doing this differently, you start doing that differently, and then soon they go for somebody who you were in the beginning, because they don't even recognize who they liked at the beginning, because now they've shaped you into this monster that you're not, and then they can use that against you. So please just use this as a reminder, as your sign that you are enough. You don't need them. You don't need that kind of abuse. And if you're in love with an idea about who they were at one time or how they treated you, fall in love with the idea of some other fictional person that you haven't met yet. Because that idea of them doesn't exist. That's not real. That's in your mind. So you're actually in love with your own mind. So why don't you just switch that around and remind yourself every time that you think some positive thought of them. This is hard because, of course, they target empaths because you feel deeply and you make considerations and you make compromises. That's why they targeted you. So in this case, don't. Do the opposite. No, that time was rude. Remember that time. Doesn't mean to fester on it. It means you have to remember it so that you don't take it on thinking that you did something wrong and then you're missing and glamorizing them, a false self of them. Connect back into your true self. Remember your preferences. And remember that whatever idea or romantic thing about who they were, it doesn't exist. And that can be painful. It can be painful that you fell in love with an idea or a facade. But the good news is that you could fall in love with an idea. So come up with a new idea of somebody way better in your mind and then draw in that person. You can do this. You are so strong. The fact that you clicked on this video says that you're ready. You're ready to just move it on. So you also had a little bit of an addiction to this person, to this payoff, to this roller coaster ride. So have grace for yourself. Starting this new process, leaving that addiction behind. Come up with a new idea and fall in love with that. You got this. I promise you do. And if you've been a victim, a target, same, I'm really sorry. But the good news is you're in really great company with really cool people. You're not alone. We're gathering together. More and more awareness is coming out about this stuff. So there'll be less shame so that they don't win over and over and over again. You've done nothing wrong. You're beautiful. You got this. Keep going. Retrain this thing up here. and the rest will follow. Okay, I'll see you next time.
You're still there. I can feel you there. It's okay. Do you want more? There's another video you could watch. Oh, the signs of narcissism? You want that? I don't know. You want more on that? Maybe? What could you use? Maybe, let me think about it. Straighten my ponytail. This one.